Yay, Jeff's here. Hi, Jeff.
Hey
Nice to see
guys.
you. Hi, Ted. Oh, hey, Ted. Been a long time.
Hey everybody, good to see you.
You too.
Good. While we have a moment, I do have some news to share with you.
Okay. Okay. Yay, Jeff. Jeff is
Oh,
the author of a new book.
All right on.
wow.
Hooray! Oh, that's
Wow.
Yep. Yep. It's going to be right now. The release date is going to be on Friday, this coming Friday, and then right now, so you can only pre-order the Kindle version, and we're still editing the paperback. So once everything's all set up, then I'll make an announcement saying, we're saying that, you can go pre-order on Amazon. So
Congratulations.
Exciting. I'm so proud of you.
thank
Breaking
you.
news. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
For those of you who don't know Jeff, Jeff, do you want to introduce yourself just a little bit?
Yes, I'm a autism neurodiversity ambassador, public speaker, founder of Going the Distance, and now author of The Neurodivergent Owl. And I'm based in Massachusetts, and I'm also with a few other organizations in addition to Autism Tree. So it's great to be a part of a great organization, and I hope to keep going for many more years.
And a fun fact is Doug Flutie helped us put Autism Tree on the map when he was a San Diego Charger 23 years
Yep.
ago. He has a son, Doug Jr., with autism. And so, Jeff, we share that. We share being part of Doug Flutie's foundation helped us start. And I know you're on their board. Is that correct?
I'm actually one of their Flutie fellows.
Yes, which is amazing. I'm so proud of you for that too.
Yep.
Well, I'm so
Cool.
grateful for everybody for joining today, especially Rachel and Steve. Thank you so much for being here and being our guest speakers. I want to go ahead and share a little bit about our lunch and learns. It's been a year, if you can believe it, since we've done our last lunch and learn. And it's so nice to see everybody on Zoom. And we'll be mindful of everybody's time. We have about an hour. This is actually our 156th Lunch and Learn. All of our Lunch and Learns are recorded and put on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch them at any point if you're looking for resources. It's an amazing resource library, and we started doing them during the pandemic just to stay connected and share resources and basically stay inspired and to keep us going. And so those are really wonderful to watch if you want a little pick me up. I love every single lunch and learn that we've ever done. And I want to do a quick update from Autism Tree though. First, a couple Zoom rules since it's been a little while since we've been on Zoom. Please mute yourself since when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation, video sharing, or sharing your video. Although we love to see all your smiling faces, it is optional, but we love to see you. And also, you can type all questions and comments into the chat, but we will have a Q&A at the end, the last 15 minutes, where you are welcome to unmute yourself and ask any questions at all to our guest speakers or to us, and we'll answer those. So, a quick update from Autism Tree. We already have 50 new families who have joined our Autism Tree family just this year, since January 1st, who have filled out an intake form on our website. So, welcome to those new families if you're one of them. And we had over 760, I think even more than that, I'm being conservative, who joined our Autism Tree family all of last year. And then just an FYI, we do offer 20 annual programs. Well, that should say 18 in-person programs and two are virtual, our lunch and learns, and then we do a virtual book club as well. And then we have 11 upcoming events coming up in April, May. So check our social media for announcements and the links to register, or if you're on our if you're on our email list, you should get those event announcements. Those are all family events. A few events that are coming up. We have a volunteer orientation, which I'm really excited about for our new volunteers. We have two part-time amazing staff. One of them is Santana Boyce. She's our family care coordinator, who's amazing with our families and also has a son of her own on the spectrum. And then we have Kiara Franklin, who's our volunteer and community engagement manager, and she runs our volunteer orientations, and does such a phenomenal job. So if you know anybody who's interested in volunteering for Autism Tree, we're hosting one in person at our Autism Tree headquarters, off of Marina Boulevard, is where our office is, and that will be happening on May 6th. We also have our fifth annual Kendra Scott. We partner with Kendra Scott to do a sip and shop fundraiser. There's champagne, there's little snacks, and of course, we're gonna have it. It's right before Mother's Day weekend. So if you're looking to get a special gift for your mom or any of the mothers in your life, it's happening on Friday, May 8th from 5 to 7 at the UTC Mall at the Kendra Scott location there. And you're welcome to join us, or you can buy online as well. And 20% of any purchase goes to Autism Tree. So that's that's actually from one of our board members who organizes this event for us, Alexandra Tacone. She's an angel. And then we also have our next family event that's coming up is Lego Playgroup, which is happening on the 9th, which is a Saturday. And those are always really fun at our office. We have, like I mentioned, with our lunch and learns, we have 155 lunch and learns, and in total, over 655 videos on our YouTube channel. And we always post every year and pretty often. So I would definitely subscribe if you want to stay in the know for any of our fun events and video content that we have. So, and then just an FYI, we also, I want to make sure my computer's, okay. Just an FYI, Dana and I just got back from Prague, which was an incredible experience. We were attending the 25th anniversary International Society of Autism Research Conference, and in Prague, and that was a really exciting experience. Do you want to say anything about that?
Um, just that it was an incredible honor. We've been doing our own conference, which many of you might know about, might have attended. We've put on 11 conferences since 2015. And many of our doctors are in leadership positions at NSAR. And so it was fully incredible. Our moderator, Dr. Brian Boyd, he's the current president of International Society for Autism Research. So it was a very special time. It was their 25th anniversary. Dr. David Amaral, who's been a keynote for our foundation's conference. He's at UCI. He runs the Mind Institute, not UCI, UC Davis, and he runs the Mind Institute. He was picked by 5 families to do that. And so the Lifetime Achievement Award went to him. And he actually started NSAR. I didn't even realize that until we watched him get his Lifetime Achievement Award. And then Sir Simon Baron Cohen, who's out of the UK, was also a keynote. And so the opening ceremony, we knew 3 of the 5 presidents that were on the past president panel. And as he said, Sir Simon Baron Cohen said in the opening ceremonies that when he walked the bridge going into NSAR for the 25th anniversary, that it was like walking into see his extended family. And that really stayed with me deeply because Autism Tree, if you are involved with the foundation, it is one big family. And for him to say that was meaningful because all the doctors that have been part of our conference, that are part of NSAR, who are in leadership positions there, they very much feel like part of our family. And if you haven't come to our conference and you come, our date is going to be April of next year. For the first time, we're doing the conference during National Autism Awareness Month. You will see firsthand how these amazing globally renowned autism researchers, they want to connect with our families and they do connect. And when I started this conference and this concept of wanting these researchers to have a heart connection to our family, it's honestly far exceeded both my imagination, my prayers, and my dreams for the conference. And so I'm very honored to share it with you and to invite you to next year's conference.
It'll be Friday, April 9th, just FYI. Oh, it says internet's unstable. If you have any questions about it, you can let us know. But I want to go back to Rachael and Steve and introduce the both of you. So Rachael, actually she has two sons, right, Rachael? And we one of them, her oldest, Nico, is an intern for Autism Tree, and he attends UC San Diego. Did I get that correct? And
Yeah, that
and
is
then
true.
she has a younger son as well, Lucas, who she's going to be speaking about today. And she organically reached out to us and introduced us to Steve Peterson, who's the owner of 3 School of Rock locations here in San Diego County. And I don't want to say and give anything away because I was just so touched by our call together and them Rachel sharing her story about Lucas and Steve and how the community of School of Rock has really embraced her son. So I'm going to pass it off to Rachel and Steve, and you're welcome to please tell your story and do it any way you'd like.
Thank you. I will start. My name is Rachel, and actually, as mentioned, I have 2 sons, and my older one, who is 19 years old, is Lucas. He's the one with actually autism spectrum disorder, and my younger one, Nico, is, as mentioned, has been doing internship with Autism Tree Foundation, and I'm so proud of that. Um, my older son Lucas was diagnosed as pretty severe case of autism spectrum disorder from very young age. And, through a number of different programs that we've tried, pretty much 40 hours a week of ABAs, physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy for years. And I still couldn't really mainstream him to any meaningful community program just because he was, number one, quite delayed, and number 2, challenges and just overall fitting in and be able to really do anything at neurotypical peers level, whether it's academics, whether it's sports, all of the above. So for years, we just kind of thought that's just how it's going to be. He's not going to have those moments where I get to go to performance of my child and clap hands and do all of that. I've experienced it with my younger son, but not with my older one. Then one day I started noticing his incredible love of music. It started with classical music. He was obsessively playing Beethoven, Mozart. Then pretty soon that went to him memorizing every single symphony composers, when they were born, when they passed away, down to really knowing almost every symphony and classical music. And so then I was like, wow, maybe there's something here. And so we started doing cello, viola lessons, and they told me he has something called perfect pitch. So he can hear the sound and I guess connect to the music notes in his head pretty quickly. And then at some point, he found rock music, where he started from classical music. And he started listening to the rock, pop, all of those on YouTube. So I said, you know what? Only if I can find some kind of a music school or music program where he can be part of, maybe it will give an incredible amount of joy. So I started searching on Google. I've never heard of School of Rock. I didn't even know what School of Rock was. So I searched and searched, and most of what I found were just one-on-one individual music lessons. That was about it. And then I somehow came across School of Rock on one day, one search. Then I started reading about what they do, which is performance-based program where you pull these kids together to rehearse for, several months and actually put together a concert. And these kids get to be the rock musician with the audiences. And I said, oh my God. And for me, that was like, this gotta be just dream. There's no way Lucas will be able to participate in this. But still, there was a hope in my heart. So I reached out to one of the first School of Rock location in San Diego that's not owned by Steve. And I didn't mean to omit it, but I forgot to mention Lucas's special needs. We showed up at the audition, and I could immediately see the music director was a little taken aback. They could see Lucas's special needs, and I could see that this was something new for them, especially, performance-based. And he was very nice, but at the end of the audition, he pretty much told us, we really need kids that can be quite independent and rehearse and take their own part and own their stuff. And so we were very kindly told no, that they're not equipped to include a special needs child. And so I could have given up, but then I said, I'm pretty persistent. So I started searching more of other School of Rock, and I found School of Rock Del Mar. And I found Steve's name and phone number. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to call him. So I called him. And I, this time, came up front and said, my son has special needs. He has autism, but he loves music, and we'd like to try. And I'll never forget what Steve said. He was so honest and saying, I've never done it, but I would love to try. I would love to meet him and see how it goes. And for me, that was more than enough. Just being open. And we brought Lucas, and Steve went as far as saying, you know what? The first month, I'm not going to charge you because I want to see how he feels and how comfortable he is, whether he likes it. Let's see how it goes. Months later, he officially joined. And then the first season, he got to play a concert at a real music venue, places like a Music Box in downtown where the real musicians and artists play. And that was the beginning. And I think Lucas was with School of Rock for over 3 years, 3.5 years. He became pretty, top-notch bass player, I think. And then the guitar, he's a number of guitar one songs. And I have to say, I had a concentrated 3 years of celebrating him and his performance and his talent in 3 years of his 19 years of lifetime that I missed out before School of Rock. I got to go every 3 months, seeing him rocking out, people screaming, and him doing all kinds of gestures and dyeing his hair colors to be the rock star. And I have, out of all the therapies I've ever done, I've never seen him blossoming the way he did with the music, with the School of Rock, being out there with all the neurotypical kids, and on top of it, being an established rock star for those concerts every 3 months. And it's almost like, a Make-A-Wish Foundation every 3 months, so to speak. So Lucas eventually aged out of School of Rock regular system. And after that, I wanted this to continue because there's nothing like this. For Lucas, this was transformative experience for his life. And I have to believe many others that love music, that are in spectrum, it will be the same. And Steve, as I mentioned, is an incredible person beyond the owner of School of Rock. And so I'd like to pass now to Steve, and that's why I'm working with him and to get the words out. Steve?
Wow, Rachel, thank you for teeing me up like that. It's been an incredible journey to watch Lucas. He walked in, he was able to play. That was it was the question was how how he was going to feel in the environment, if he was going to get comfortable, and also how the other students were going to respond to him, and whether it was going to be a good match for him and for the other kids and everything. And it really it gave me hope about this generation. I think that there's, I think the generation of youth right now, this Gen Z, if you will, are really being taught to, I think, incorporate more types of students and more types of peers. And so, Lucas was accepted. It was nice. It was great, and he was able to learn his songs. And so it just kind of worked out, and to, like Rachel said, watch him, show up with bleach blonde hair for show day and full leather garb was really cool to see him do that. And so yeah, it was great to watch. And I think the one thing that I'll always think back to Lucas is that, okay, I saw what he was when he started. You could see his passion and energy when he played, and he just really would strum the chords really hard and just like, with a lot of energy and passion, he'd jump up and down even in rehearsal. And it was great. It wasn't a distraction. He was just really passionate about what he was doing. And but watching his progression, and I'll never forget the day when my staff told me that they cast him on the guitar one, which guitar one is usually the harder part of the song. They cast him on guitar one for "Sweet Child of Mine" by Guns N' Roses, which I would argue is probably Slash's hardest song that he's ever recorded, the most technically complex song. I know it's a big radio hit, so you don't think about those being complex, but that's actually a very hard, difficult song to play. That I would say that a lot of my very best students struggle with that song, but he did it. When I heard that he was assigned that song, I made sure that my staff full court pressed it, that he was going to get that song and get it right. And he did. I think he had extra lessons. He did all kinds of things that just really make sure that he was able to get on stage and nail that song. That song has got a lot of tricky changes that require concentration, focus, timing to be perfect in order to really to execute. And he did it. And I'll just never forget how proud I felt of him that moment I saw him do it. And of course I filmed it, and I know Rachel filmed it, and it was a beautiful moment. I hope Lucas realizes, I hope he himself realizes how much of an achievement that is for anybody. So proud of him there. But yeah, to kind of build on that, that was about a year ago, I think, maybe less than a year ago that he did that. Then Lucas unfortunately kind of got to the age range where we could not keep him in the 9 to 18-year-old students anymore. So he kind of had to transition to an adult program. The challenge we have with School of Rock is that our programs, like 90% of our student base or more, 93%, something like that, are ages 4 to 18. And then the rest are usually ages 40 to 70. So we don't have a lot of students who are in that 19 to 30 range. And for a lot of reasons, economically, interest, people are going to college, getting jobs, things like that at that age range. We don't have a lot of other students. So we've been trying multiple ways to try to get to essentially keep Lucas on his journey, right? To keep him with a band, and that's been kind of the struggle. So so Rachel and I thought, well, if this worked out for Lucas, there's got to be other um, uh, young adults like Lucas who would enjoy doing a program like this. And we do have a number of students who their enrollment is funded via SDRC amongst other programs, and so and adults qualify. So there's a funding mechanism for for those young adults, and there's a vehicle with my schools. We just got to what Rachel and I are having trouble doing is finding those people who would be interested to participate in a program like that we've offered. So really, like I said, like I told you guys in the last call we had, my primary motivation is to recreate this experience for Lucas, particularly. And mainly because I just haven't met I haven't met a lot of other Lucases out there to say, okay, this is for everybody. But for right now, my primary objective is just, okay, let's build a band for Lucas, and then if that turns into something different, then that's great, But I'm really excited about that by itself as a mission.
Thank you, Steve. And do you want to say a little bit about the intro video? I'm gonna play the video.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So a part of Rachel and I trying to get the word out to members of the ASD community. We sent out a marketing email to all my marketing lists. We posted on social media that we were trying to build this band for students 18 to 25 or 30, with ASD to try to get that going. So what I even identified a member of my staff, Amelia, who you'll see on this video, a wonderful young adult who's going to be the leader of this program once we can get enough students to kick it off. And she's in the video. I asked her to create this video for me because she was really excited about the project, and she took it on with gusto. Only one caveat, the video states in the beginning that this is in partnership with SDRC. That was a little bit overly, she took a little more license on that than she probably maybe should have. We're not in partnership with SDRC. We are an approved vendor for SDRC, and we have at least 20, 30 SDRC students in our system. I believe Lucas is the only adult SDRC student in our system, but we've got, like I said, 20 or 30 between my three schools of students who are SDRC funded, who are, under 18.
Perfect. So I'll go ahead.
Steve, I actually quickly wanted to mention there are some questions on the chat. One particular, I think, Steve, you can answer. How do you teach your students music notes? Is it number notes? Asking because my son is 7 years old. So Steve, did you want to answer that?
So it depends on the instrument. If we're talking guitar, we teach in person. When you teach music in person, you just kind of help show the notes. But obviously, you need some sort of documentation that goes with the student, goes home with the student, so they can remember what they were taught. For guitar, we use tablature. Tablature has been kind of the de facto way to teach guitar and bass for the last, at least the last 50 years. I think it was started because Eddie Van Halen's music was so difficult to transcribe via notation that they had to invent something newer and simpler. And the beauty of it is that tablature is very simple to follow. It is 100 times simpler than staff notation, which is the classical notation of musical notes, which are still used in piano. We still use that for piano, but we don't use that for guitar. Drums has its own variation of notation that's different. That's more like, okay, beats and quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, hi-hats. Drums are its own form of notation. I hope that answered the question.
And also you have the vocals who get it's a full band, right? The drums,
Yeah.
the guitars.
Yeah, the vocals, yeah. So some students are ambitious enough to try to follow the staff notation with vocals. The one thing I will always say about learning music and having taught and watched thousands of students go through it, that staff notation, which is what we classically look at as music, as reading music, is something that's very heavily relied on in pit orchestras and that type of environment. For rock music, not as much. For example, none of the Beatles knew how to read music. Eddie Van Halen didn't know how to read music, so it's not as required. And two major developments have happened in the last 100 years that made it a little bit less relevant every year for the average person playing music. One of them is recorded music. So before recorded music, all you had was paper, right? So now you can listen to a song and learn how to play it. But then another thing came out. It's called YouTube, which is actually has billions of videos of people actually showing you exactly how to play things. So there's a lot of resources out there to support a student wanting to learn an instrument, and reading music is just one part of it. But it's the thing is it's the least fun, and it's the part that a lot of students prefer not to learn. But
I I want to add on that. I'm actually I used to sing in choir and we had to learn how to read notes and it was my least favorite thing to do. So it's kind of amazing that you guys have a different option.
yeah.
Um, I love it. Okay, so I'm looking at the chat too, Rachel, and thank you everyone who's typing their questions in the chat. I love it. Just FYI, if you're not looking at the chat or can't right now, one of the moms asked, "How old was Lucas when you took him in for the audition?" And Rachel shared that it was just in 2022 that he joined School of Rock, and he had just turned 16. And then Ted asked, is Lucas more of a shredder or a field player?
Love that.
And I
Oh,
said he's probably shredder, but I would ask Steve.
he straddles both.
Nice. Best of both worlds.
And
And then Valerie
oh,
also asked, how
yeah,
did
it talks
Lucas...
about how did Lucas learn music notes. Oh,
Mhm.
he was always very, very musically inclined. So he would almost, as I mentioned, he would listen to something and then he would know exactly which note it is. So it wasn't really systemic teaching of any of that. Even at School of Rock, I remember the lesson teachers used to say, you let him listen and play a couple times, and then he would just kind of get it. I think it is, many of the people that have autism spectrum are very talented in certain things where they just have this incredible capability, whether that's a geography, whether that's a Lego, whether that's something else. And I guess for Lucas, it was music. But I have to believe many more out there that are like that. Anyway, so that's how he did. Um, I don't know if Steve, you wanted to show that video first, or you wanted to.
I have it ready. I can show it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
perfect.
this is just a quick preamble. This is Amelia. She put together this wonderful video for us, and I think it really describes the energy of what we do, the kind of the passion of our staff, and what we want to do, what we want to accomplish with this program.
Perfect.
School of Rock Encinitas, Del Mar, and Scripps Ranch are partnering with the San Diego Regional Center to launch a new performance program for young adults ages 18 to 30 who want to play an instrument, level up their skills, and play in a band. This is an inclusive program designed for adults with diverse learning styles in the ASD, ID, and DD community. Through this program, students will get weekly one-on-one lessons tailored to their learning styles, abilities, and interests. Each week, students will also rehearse together as a band, working alongside experienced instructors dedicated to creating a safe, encouraging space to learn and perform. My name is Amelia, and I'm a music instructor at the School of Rock. I'll be one of the instructors for our new adult program, and I'm excited to work alongside our students as they build their skills, confidence, and community through music. Call us for more information. You or your student's tuition could be covered by SDRC.
Hey. She did a great job on that video.
I was really proud of her. She's great.
I love it. Jeff said, music is more than just a sound, it's a form of expression. I see this a lot as the majority of the Flutie Fellows are musicians and singers. That's really cool, Jeff. Thanks for sharing. Wonderful. And then Marina asked, are there things we can post on social media to promote?
Absolutely. That's what Steve and I, when we wanted to do this a few months back, first thing Steve asked was, how do I do outreach to that community? Rachel, through your son, you have that pathway. I don't know where to go. And I realized actually, I've been so busy with my work and whatnot, I never really did beyond the few families I know, I never really did have that channel. And then I started looking, and Autism Tree Foundation was one of them. So absolutely, we would like to do the grassroots pull to really get the words out. This is an incredible program, and I can attest to it. Anything, Steve, you want to say?
So yeah, I would say, if we could have the caveat about the softening the position on partner with SDRC, I would love for that video. I think the video does a nice job of telling the story of, and I suppose I could get Amelia to edit that that part in a little bit, but yeah, I think I'd love for that video to kind of to get out to the community. So I think it does a really good job of communicating the intent in a very digestible format.
Yeah, if she shares it with me, then I can post it on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
We can try to get the word out. I the one thing that I really loved about meeting both of you is it really got me passionate about wanting to find a band for Lucas.
Yeah.
Let's find some band members for Lucas.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the part that's been the most difficult on me is, I know Rachel as well. So this is the tough conversation I had to have with Rachel, 9 months ago or so, when I had to tell her, look, we're just now at a point where, Lucas's age and is going to prevent him from continue on this track. And I did not have a very clear track that I felt that I had a lot of confidence that we could support over the long term. I said, well, we're going to do everything we can to create that. But it's kind of getting there, and it's kind of stutter stopping. But I really want to create something that's going to be more lifelong for Lucas than just kind of the duct tape and rubber bands that we're doing right now.
And another thing I want to say is when he was with School of Rock, and School of Rock made many different exceptions for us, and one of which was also allowing Lucas to do more than 2 performance bands. So he was in 3 performance bands, and which meant, at least 3 nights, evenings a week of rehearsal with 3 different bands. When the showtime came, he had weekend of multiple concerts. So coming out of that, which was every 3 months for several years, and suddenly all of that stopped,
Yeah.
was very hard for him. And so then he started asking me to take him to parks and playgrounds, and he would grab his acoustic guitar, and he learned the word busking. I didn't even know what busking was until I found out. I guess it's a street performance. And so since then, for last about 4 or 5 months, we've been going to parks, not just on the weekend, even weekday evenings, playgrounds. And he would pull out his acoustic guitar and play. Sometimes most people are like, what is that? It's a playground. And they just kind of listen a little bit and walk by. Other times he can be surrounded by little kids and their parents watching him and clapping hands. And then I guess a few times somebody dropped $1 or quarters. And that's how much he loves music and performing.
It's a
That's
beautiful
good.
idea.
Yeah.
I love that he's doing that. Ted asked, if a child is really scared to play, are there ways to help them dive in, or should they come in with a clear desire to rock?
Mhm.
So usually in these 7+ years I've been doing this, I've seen 2 instances where a student has gotten on stage and things have kind of gone sideways. The first one was a remarkable story. The kid got up on stage, and I think the song he was on was "Achy Breaky Heart," and he just wasn't. I don't know. He lost the rhythm, or he lost something about it. He lost himself in the song, and he started crying while he was singing it.
Mm.
And then he got up, and then so I didn't know what was going to happen. Then, like 4 songs later, he got back up, and it was either a Beastie Boys song or Rage Against the Machine song. he came up there and just crushed it, and the whole audience just erupted for this kid because they just saw him have a breakdown in the last song and fall apart. And so they just watching that rebound was just incredible. And more recently, we had a kid who really, but it's very rare that we get students who have a hard time with the performance, and because what happens is, in one minor correction, Rachel, from what you were saying, just so because I want everyone to be clear, our performances were every 4 months, not three. But so the students get a lot of time to perform around each other, to practice around each other, and that makes it, by the time it's stage time, it's actually pretty easy. And to think about the thousands of kids that I've been, that we've been teaching over the years, to have so few instances of stage fright or performance anxiety. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of performance anxiety under the surface that didn't materialize in their facial expressions or their words. But we see a lot less of that than you would think. But I think it's because of the fact that there's so many relationships that are built.
Mm-hmm. So, for those of parents who don't know anything about School of Rock, can you go over that a little bit about exactly what you guys offer?
Yeah. So School of Rock is, we're performance-based music education. We have what I'll call a performance ladder, if you will. So we don't expect students to follow it exactly like this. We start ages 4 to 5. And very few of our students start at that age and go all the way, matriculate all the way through to the graduate programs. That's rare. Usually they enter in at a certain point. So we have a program for 4 to 5 year olds called Little Wing, and that's really just kind of more music appreciation, learning music fundamentals before you even touch an instrument, because instrumentation requires a lot of motor skills that a lot of kids that age don't have control over yet, and the attention span or the ability to go home and practice something. So we teach music without having to really get into an instrument yet. We've got the next program up is called Rookies, which is intended for 6 to 8 year olds. And that program is intended to get the kids playing drums, get the kids playing guitar, getting them playing bass, keep piano, and voice. And as through the process of trying those instruments out over a period of weeks or months, they will always find one that they gravitate toward. And once they've selected that instrument, then they can go on to add private lessons and matriculate up to the next level, which we call Rock 101. Rock 101 is a program that's intended for students who are 8 to 12, roughly, who are rank beginners at their instrument. Kids have never played drums or guitar or bass or sung or piano before. They join Rock 101. And that combines a private lesson with a weekly group practice. So they work on songs together as a group, and they learn, and they do little, real low stakes performances, right? In front of parents and a few people, not in front of hundreds of people like our other programs. Okay. The purpose of Rock 101 is to getting the kids to learn good rehearsal habits, like not noodling, paying attention to the instructor, be able to get through a whole song, right? Because they're expected to be able to start at the beginning of a song and play every note of that song in Rock 101. So but they're simple songs, but they're expected to be able to get through them. Rock 101 is it's a 4 to 12 month cycle, depending on how dedicated and how much energy the student puts into it and how mature they are. But the intent is to. I think the Monday group is Smashing Pumpkins. The Tuesday group is Billie Eilish. The Wednesday group is Beatles. The Thursday group is called Radio Rock, and the Saturday group is Led Zeppelin. So they get to choose one of those show groups, and based off the show group, obviously, if they join the Led Zeppelin group, they know they're going to be learning Led Zeppelin songs. And every student will get cast on anywhere from 4 to 8 songs, depending on depending on the song, depending on their ability to handle the material, and depending on how many students are in that particular group. And they work on those for 4 months, and then they'll put on a concert in front of a lot of people at a real rock venue for, anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hour concert. So they're not on stage the whole time, but they're on stage a fair amount of that time. And it's a big event. And yeah, and then there's other programs that, we have the adult program, we have house band, and then there's also another program at the very top of the, which is called All Stars, which is the national level School of Rock program, which that students that can audition for that, and the top 0.3% of students can make it to that level. It's pretty it's really intense competition at that point. So yeah, so we our program starts with babies and takes you all the way to professional level musicianship.
It's amazing. For a lot of our autistic adults, and I know our community knows this a lot, but there's a drop off of services at age 22 around. And so programs like this are really needed for our young adults, and that we're trying to do more of that. So they have fun things that they can look forward to in their life. I love it. Ted says, what 2 or 3 songs would you say your students have the most fun playing? That's a cool question.
Let's see. I'm trying to think what's the name of the song that they have the most fun playing, which is not I wouldn't say it's an advanced song, but it's a somewhat advanced song, would be Bulls on Parade by Rage Against the Machine. The kids go nuts on that song. Or anything Rage Against the Machine. They love Green Day, any of that kind of stuff that they really enjoy playing. Then there's songs like Wolfpack's Back Pocket, which is another fun one that the kids love to play. And yeah, there's a little Stockholm Syndrome by Muse is one that they have a lot of fun with.
Wow.
Susan says, I would like to help spread the word. Is there a website?
I don't have a website for this particular program, for the neurodivergent program, but our School of Rock website, just so schoolofrock.com/Encinitas/Del Mar or /Scripps Ranch would be the ones that would take us, but probably the best, maybe just sending people to our Instagram might be the way to do it. I guess I hadn't thought about this, but
maybe what we can do, Steve, is through Autism Tree Foundation, if we can maybe provide even the links to the Instagram or the School of Rock Del Mar website. And then, Steve, if you feel okay about the partnering with SCRC versus being an approved vendor, maybe we can share either the flyer or the video that we create.
I'm going to text Amelia to see if she can make a quick edit on that. She may have done it already, maybe just hasn't sent it to me, because I did talk to her about it one time. And then that would feel cleaner. I don't want SDRC to get mad at us for over positioning our engagement with them.
But I think what best thing is we share that with Autism Tree Foundation, and then perhaps Autism Tree Foundation can help us following through. We would really, for me, the whole point of doing this podcast and the reason I'm so excited and honored is to get the words out. Really, I can't believe Lucas is the only one in this neurodiverse community that loves music. And the other thing was that when I was searching for something for Lucas, I found a lot of, the sort of the neurodiverse events that are, whether Legos or a number of other things, right? A lot of athletic things. I couldn't find a single, especially the rock, pop music, things. The only thing I found on music were music therapies or individual music lessons. And I've never found, so this is very rare or niche, sort of the events that are available. And yet I believe many of the neurodiverse people would have very much the musical inclination, I believe. And if I may show the static picture of my son, briefly, is that, and one thing I want to share is that he is actually moderate to severe. spectrum. So he's not what you may seem like he's high functioning, and he's not. And he was, as Steve mentioned, fully accepted. It was amazing how Gen Z kids, they never judged him. They actually accepted him, and then they were king of each other. You could see at a concert, there's a guitar one, guitar two, guitar three, the drum. They're all looking at each other, making sure they're coordinated, and Lucas was just one of them. And let me share a quick photo of him. And so this is, let me see. Sorry, this is Lucas.
Starting to work.
That's the one on the front. As Steve said, we always loved every performance, having his hair colored. It was something I bought in Amazon, washes off that evening. And it just was an incredible experience he's had. Every venue, as Steve mentioned, every 4 months. And those are other kids. And some are as young as, I think, Steve, like they look like 7-year-olds. I don't know, but it was incredible.
We've
The
had a
fact that he
couple
could-
7-year-olds. It's very rare. Very rare. Dean Leverton is the only, with Dean Leverton, one others was only 7-year-olds. Usually they start at 9 or 10 for that group.
Right. So just again, for me, having a moderate to severe autistic son who couldn't really mainstream in anything, and to do this and get to go for over 3 years of concerts celebrating him, amazing, amazing, and him too.
Love that. That's a fantastic picture of him, Rachel.
Yeah, he definitely used those days.
I love it. Does anybody else have any last minute questions for Rachel and Steve? And we'll definitely get the flyer and share out the
Yeah,
ending
there's
video.
a chat in asking what is the Instagram handle, Steve. Maybe, I don't know, Steve, you can put it in the chat, the Instagram handle. I don't know where we can.
And we love to do a quick picture before people start leaving.
Yeah.
Don't leave. Yeah, we would love to do a group picture with everybody. We always do that on every Lunch and Learn.
We do. We'll definitely send out a recap email to everybody who joined today, and probably to our entire
And if you can
database.
show your screen, that would be great.
If you would like to.
We love seeing your faces. And then
Perfect.
maybe Rachel and Steve stay on at the end. I have a couple thoughts.
I think it's School of Rock Del Mar, and it's probably the best one or Scripps Ranch would be the ones. And that the handle is just School of Rock Del Mar, School of Rock Scripps Ranch. And I think the Encinitas one is School of Rock ENC. I just don't have that one on my phone right now.
I just want to address one quick question there. Someone asked, what about 17-year-old beginner? I would assume, Steve, they will start into the up to 18 program, learn the lessons, and if they can join the performance for a year, they would do that, and then they'll transition into the youth or young adult program that we're trying to kick off, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I guess it would depend on the student, and if they're rank beginner, we would want to get them in lessons for a period of time beforehand to get to, and also kind of depends on their appetite and how fast they're willing to take on music, to take things on. We do have beginners at that age join the performance program, just because we can generally expect that at that age that they could be, if we put them in the deep end of the pool, they'll learn how to swim. But it's going to be student by student dependent.
Perfect. Wonderful. Let's take a picture. Which location would be best? Ooh, the 3 locations, real quick, Steve. Say them again.
Well, so the 3 locations are Scripps Ranch, Del Mar. So we'll tell you where they are. Scripps Ranch is off Scripps Poway Parkway in Scripps Ranch, right in the heart of it over there. The Del Mar location is on Camino Del Mar over by Powerhouse Beach at the Del Mar Plaza Shopping Center. A lot of you, I'm sure you're all familiar with it. There's the Il Fornaio restaurant, Monarch restaurant there. We're a little hard to find in that plaza, but we're there. And the third location is Encinitas, which is on the corner of Encinitas Boulevard and Camino, or what is it? El Camino Real. So we're in that area. I'm just going to point people to where Lucas goes because that will make life easier. And the staff is kind of understands the program and the needs there well. That is the Del Mar location. So the Instagram handle will be School of Rock Del Mar.
Perfect.
Hi, Noelle.
Okay, awesome. Let's take a group picture. Let's everybody look at the camera and I'll do a screenshot. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
So Rachel and Steve, stay on. I just have a couple thoughts, and whatever everyone can do to help build a band for Lucas. That's what we're like. We're manifesting together here.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thank
you
you
so
Lucases.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Take care, guys.